with the repaved areas?
The repaved areas aren't much different. A little bit smoother transition through turn 10, but the grip level being higher through turn 11, you can just bomb it in there a little bit further and still the car will react in turn versus sliding. Seems like braking into 12 is much the same. A couple of the transitions are a little bit rough from the old to the new, so you get a little bit of action through there, but 18, 19 feels pretty much the same feel as I had before, just a little faster. What's that?
What happened to your qualifying?
That's it, man. That's all she's got. Yeah. So don't feel like I missed anything too bad. I slowed down a little bit in turn 8 to try to make sure that I hooked it properly and gave up some time there, but that wasn't the end all be all of our lap.
What do you do about turning with the turn?
Yeah, I mean, we had this issue last year and we forgot about it. So we threw a caution, as a matter of fact, because there was dirt on the racetrack. So, you can't put anything in right now. So what can you do with removing asphalt over there? I would cut the asphalt that's on the inside of that corner where the grass is in half and make us straddle that candy stripe or put us back on, like put us back on the racetrack and see if that helps anything. Maybe it won't, because you get such a payoff of putting your right sides in the dirt and hooking that asphalt right there that it pulls you around that corner like a railroad track.
I mean, they were talking about doing track limits there, and you said they tried to put out cameras, but I guess didn't have either too many drivers complained or they didn't have confidence in their system to be able to officiate it.
Okay.
But would you have been okay if they had track limits there?
Yeah, absolutely. We need it. Look at what we got right now.
I wanted to ask you, NASCAR took over Bowman Gray's promotion rights. Would you, what would you think if they sent Cup cars to come in Bowman Gray for All-Star or something?
I wouldn't put it past them. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know that I've ever seen a good race out of that place. I have seen plenty of highlight reels and, on TV issues of guys running through the infield and crashing other guys' cars and getting out and fighting and what have you. So we're in the entertainment business, and the more calamity and chaos we can have, the better. So sign us up.
Driving for Spire's truck team, what have you seen out of Connor Zilic and the performance he also put up yesterday?
I haven't seen anything because I haven't paid attention, but this is also his first go. I've heard of his name, obviously, and the things that he's done in ARCA and late models and TA2 and stuff like that. So he's obviously been brought up as a good road racer, has a lot of road racing background. So yesterday was impressive. Actually, I'm not taking any credit by any means, but I will just say that Brian Patty and I had an hour-long conversation on the phone of what we needed in that truck better from the last 2 years that I've ran it. So hopefully that helped them and shows that it's a good piece, and we gave the good notes to Connor to have a good race there. Thank you.
Next week we go to Richmond with the Phoenix package, new package we have. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think it'll make a difference?
No, not really. I don't know that you'll see much difference in the race there. It'll just be slower because we'll have less grip. You'll have more handling issues per se, but hell, I'd say spray the whole track with resin and create more chaos. Let's go. That's what we need at Richmond for sure.
Put us on the pole. We could have waited to save that for round 2. So happy with the speed in our car. I think we need to get it driving a little better in race trim, but overall feeling good. And, it's the best starting spot for us here so far. So we generally seem to race a lot better with qualifiers. So that's a good sign for us.
Yeah, when you translate the data, I mean, all you Gibbs guys and Toyotas have a lot of speed. Did you see that? Are you taking anything from those guys that are, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, those guys, and you're translating it to what you can do to get in that rhythm?
We all look at whoever's fastest here, you're looking at, right? So we were looking at, obviously Ty was really quick, and so we looked at a lot of his stuff, and then, all our teams work really close together, so we kind of know what each other has, and you kind of take that, as you're thinking about your car and areas of the racetrack you're working on getting better at, you're also taking that into account. So we've got a lot of fast Toyotas, and that's a good thing for all of us.
Are you trying to conserve tire right from that lockup, going into one? I saw a lot of guys locking it up, driving it in extremely deep, just trying to pick up what you can. How are you conserving that?
Just not doing it. Just driving in as hard as I can without locking up.
Martin, I'm kind of curious, what's your assessment overall of the new Toyota Camry XSE?
It's been good so far. Obviously, we've had really good speed everywhere. So, I feel like I said it last week before Bristol that I feel like I've had a top 3 car in every race this season, and that hasn't changed yet. So, all of us fast again today. So, overall, everybody's just doing a really good job, and our cars are good.
How do you manage the track limits through the S's? Because obviously you want to maximize that lap time, but you don't want to get that penalty. So how do you balance what that line is?
Just try to stay right on that edge. I mean, that's what we do, right? So whether it's the way you're driving the car through every corner, you're on the edge all the time. It's no different with the curves. You're just trying to take all you can and not overdo it. So I've probably been a little too conservative today, losing time in there, and need to still work up on that. But it's definitely something that's on your mind constantly as you're racing here.
What's your thoughts on the new restart zone? I know it got pushed back a little bit. Do you think it's going to be just as chaotic as last year, or different?
No, I think it'll help a little bit. It'll spread the field out a little, but it's still going to be crazy getting into turn 1. There's just so much room there to it invites you to dive in there, and no matter who's in front of you, you're typically trying to dive bomb them. So definitely still a lot of room there to make things happen, but hopefully it'll be a little calmer, and we won't get turned around again late in the race like we did last year and ruin our whole race.
Maybe some parts a little more grip, some parts a little slicker, but not a huge difference.
Did NASCAR played with maybe trying to have track limits in 8 and 9, and they opted not to? Would you, with as dirty as it is, would you prefer, or you like it the way they're doing it?
I don't know. I mean, it's choose your poison. You kind of have to arm wrestle between the idea of enforcing track limits and keep the track clean, and versus making a bunch of fans angry when their driver gets penalized. So I don't envy NASCAR's position.
Is it feeling different with this package, with the short track? I mean, with the
not really. No. Just the teams continue to get better. The cars continue to gain speed. I think significantly faster than we were last year. I thought we made a good step with our cars, and then everybody else made a good step with their cars. So it's hard to tell with the aero packages because the teams just keep getting better.
Hey Brad, I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts about the Ford Mustang Power Core so far?
The car's got a lot of potential. We just got to realize it, with how we set it up and how we get it balanced. We haven't done that yet. I'm curious what we can see over the next few months after we optimize from what we've learned the first 2 weeks.
From either your drivers or your owner's hat, now that NASCAR has the promotion rights to Bowman Gray, would you endorse any sort of cup activity there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's any different than the Clash in LA. It seems pretty identical, only it's on the east side of the country. So, from an operations standpoint, I don't see a reason to hold back. But I think the bigger question is from a market perspective: can we attract the partners, and can we attract the fan base to that? That should probably be the question.
Brad, you mentioned taking a step forward with your cars here, but everyone else doing the same. Chris mentioned earlier that you guys are trying to look to continue to improve the road course program, despite kind of having that edge when you guys when the next gen was first introduced. What steps do you feel like you guys have made with your road course program as it entered this 2024 season?
Yeah, I thought 22 we had some of the best road course cars, and then last year disappointing. We did not have as good a cars as we had in 22. Everybody else got better, and we kind of stood still. And then I think now we're kind of like, all right, let's look at that and try a whole bunch of new things here at COTA, and we'll see what we can learn from it, and if that will carry forward to other tracks.
One thing we heard from the Phoenix feedback is that the car was a little bit more comfortable getting sideways. Is that something that you felt at all here? Does that translate? I know it's completely different circumstances.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would say that. Either way, to be determined.
Okay. The restart zone was also pushed back for this.
We won't lose you.
We won't lose you today. But the restart zone was pushed back for this race compared to last year. Do you think that's going to affect the chaos that we saw from last year?
To some degree. It might get rid of some of the silliness. I fully suspect we're going to have some level of suspense and craziness in turn one, but maybe instead of being like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 scale, it'll be like a 5 or a 6, and that's what you want. I think you want the racing to have some chaos, but it can't be pure chaos all the time, or it just gets silly. And I think this is somewhat of a compromise.
Would you call Bristol pure chaos, or?
That was at times it was pure chaos, and then times it wasn't. So,
just working with people that are much better than I am, just to understand. I mean, it's been hours and hours in the simulator of just retraining my brain to approach road course racing differently, particularly with Scott Speed. We've worked pretty hard at the GM Tech Center with probably 4 to 6 hours at least of just like really honing in. I just had such a wrong point of view, like just a wrong way of going about road course racing. I'm not sitting here telling you like I know what I'm doing now, but at least know the philosophies of how why you want the car to drag down as much as possible, what kind of shape you want with the corners to set yourself up. So it's nice to see, the fruits of your labor, but also just working with guys. I wish I could have had this type of development, 7 years ago when I came to the Cup Series. These are just the tools that these guys have to continue to hone their craft, and I just got a taste of it this year, and it's already starting to see, some benefits from it. So it's cool just to qualify well. Racing's a different story though. You want to, make sure you keep the tires on it. You want to stay on the road, but this is a great day for our team.
What's it like to have these two teammates in Carson Hocevar and Zane Smith, and knowing that you can impart what you've known about racing into them?
Those guys deserve their right here on Sunday anyways. They don't need anything that I have to say. Those guys have won a lot of races and competed for championships, so they're going to do a lot of good things. They bring a lot of value to our team. That's why I think you see with Luke Lambert, Carson, and Steve Duran and Zane, those guys have added, performance to our team overall.
This is the best qualifying effort of your career. I don't know if you know that. I know Watkins won last year, top 10 at the start from the back, though.
Yeah, we qualified 10 somewhere out Bristol last year. But I would have bet you my house and my lifetime earnings that my career best qualifying effort would not be road course. So here we are.
I guess then you kind of talked about it with Jeff, but what's it mean to put in so much improvement and actually see the fruits of the labor pay off?
Well, there's one thing putting work in just to work, but there's another thing, understanding the philosophies of how you're supposed to do it that I had nobody teaching me. I've been a short track guy, and road course racing to me was completely backwards, and it was a foreign language for me. So for Scott Speed to really work with me and figure out what my tendencies were and work through that and legitimately reprogram my brain of how I attack road courses, it makes me pretty pumped up to see the speed.
Talking about kind of some elements of the track here today, there's been speed really all over the field. Did you feel that the repave zones or maybe the new aero package might have led to that or something?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like I'm over the tire grip a lot of times at a road course anyways, so maybe that simple diffuser allows me to slide the car a little bit more and not give up as much time as some of the other guys that were better about being under the tire. A little bit bigger blade, but I think for me it's just hit my corner, stand under the tire, maximizing my braking zones, and it's weird. The faster I go, the slower the car feels, right? So it's just such a backwards philosophy, and both laps in qualifying, I couldn't see what the time was on the dash, and I was like, man, that must have been a slow lap. Nobody saying anything on the radio. Then they tell me what the times were, and I was pretty happy with it. So great qualifying ever, great Saturday for our team, and we'll buckle down and get after it tomorrow.
Comes to how qualifying was set up a little bit. Some other drivers have said there was a lot of traffic out there. Well, did you find that to be an issue at all?
No, I think if guys are courteous and they're on a flyer, somebody's on the out lap, they'll give it to you. So the rear view cameras, you can see a lot with these cars, and that might be an excuse. And I'm sure there were some guys that were impeding, but my only concern, it wasn't so much traffic, it was just we got to do something about the dirt through 8, whether we bolt a curb down to it or something. We just can't be dropping the right side tires off and making the racetrack just dirty. So we need to figure something out that overnight.
When you think about someone like Clint.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these two videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.